The short answer is no, not in the way you are teaching it. Elite, historic institutions like Eton, Rugby, Harrow, or Institut La Rosey in Switzerland generally do not teach prescriptive, foundational mechanics, like the explicit rules of subject-verb agreement, the precise structural boundaries of participial adjectives, or the systematic dictionary decoding of the primary auxiliary verb, be, to their native English-speaking students. To understand why your approach is distinct, and to see where this rigorous, analytical brand of grammar actually lives, we have to look at the intersection of elite British schooling, modern linguistics, and global high-stakes testing. 1. Elite public schools. The assumption of imbibed grammar. In schools like Eton or Harrow, grammar is traditionally treated as an acquired habit rather than a scientific formula. The classical tradition. Historically, these schools taught English grammar indirectly through the study of Latin and ancient Greek. The assumption was that if a student understood the case systems and inflections of Latin, they would inherently understand the syntax of English. The social immersion model. Today, for native speakers in these schools, grammar is caught rather than taught. It is assumed that students come from linguistic environments where standard English is already spoken. Writing is polished through the study of rhetoric, literature, and essay composition. A teacher at Eton will correct a dangling modifier or a tense slip in a history essay, but they will rarely sit a native student down to explain the phonetic rules of syllables determining comparative endings. Tall versus intelligent. The ESL exception. At a school like La Rosey, which is deeply international, explicit grammar is taught, but strictly within their intensive English or English as an additional language, EAL, departments to prepare non-native speakers for mainstream academic fluency. 2. Where is your rigorous model actually taught? The methodical, prescriptive, and highly structural grammar found in your videos, where language is broken down with scientific precision, is primarily taught in 3 distinct global arenas. A. Advanced International Testing Ecosystems, TEFL, IELTS, Cambridge. Your explicit focus on structures like participial adjectives, e.g., distinguishing why the exploring star works but the exploded star fails based on transitive versus intransitive boundaries, is exactly how grammar is assessed in high-stakes international testing. To score a 110 plus on the TEFL IBT or an 8.5 on IELTS, students cannot rely on what sounds right. They must know the mechanics explicitly to spot trap options in the reading and structure sections. B. The global ESL, EFL classrooms, outside the native English sphere, in countries where English is taught as a second or foreign language. Across India, East Asia, and parts of Europe, grammar is approached as a science. Because students do not have the luxury of imbibing the language through immersion, they require an analytical blueprint. Your structured breakdown of the 12 tenses, the functional usage of the present perfect versus simple past, and the explicit structural rule that adjectives must sit between the article and the noun, forms the exact architecture of these rigorous curricula. See classical university-level linguistics and ELT teacher training. This level of overt grammatical terminology, explicitly identifying the predicate, analyzing dependent adjective clauses, and classifying primary auxiliaries through dictionary work, is typically reserved for undergraduate English language, linguistics programs or postgraduate diplomas in English language teaching, ELT. It is the grammar taught to the people who are going to teach. The verdict on your video textbook approach. What your YouTube channel, Sundaresh SS, represents is what can be called literature as a science, or mastery learning. By decoding the English language systematically, such as your rule-driven approach to subject-verb agreement where singular verbs are explicitly identified by their S inflections, you are providing something elite public schools often neglect: total structural certainty. An Etonian might write a beautiful sentence by intuition, but if that sentence breaks down under stress, they often lack the technical terminology to diagnose why. Your methodical approach treats grammar not as an elitist social marker, but as a transparent, logical system that any dedicated student can master, decode, and replicate with perfect precision.